Alright guys, good evening. It is now 8:43 p.m. New York time on October 4th. And this is a follow-up to the video I made earlier today regarding the Australian dollar news that was coming out, and that news is now out. And as expected, it was a bit of a mixed bag. So this is the big one here. The retail sales month over month was a big miss. Okay, minus 0.6%. So that's a big that's a big drop, well below what they were expecting. Aussie trade balance was actually positive, but not extra positive. And if you look at the charts right now, the market's definitely more interested in this retail sales number, which is, kind of more directly tied to their currency in terms of economic strength and inflation. And here we are on forexlive.com, and you can go and read the rest of this story here. They have more details here, but again, this is it right here, a huge miss. All right, so, and as I said in the video earlier today, the patterns were kind of suggesting that. And so again, this we're combining the Elliott wave and the fundamentals, and kind of understanding how they fit together is important. And as I said before, having a negative number here would be one thing, but again, knowing that the Aussie has been really strong, and knowing that even with the cash rate decision a couple of nights ago being somewhat dovish, the market pretty much shook that off and continued to strengthen the Aussie. It wasn't going to take a lot to make the traders rethink their bullishness on the Aussie, and that maybe things aren't quite as strong as they would hope. And this retail sales number is a big one. Maybe, they don't have a huge economy, so this is a really important number for them. It's always going to be red level pretty much anywhere it comes out, or even in the U.S., but you'll see a more pronounced effect from an economy that's so much smaller than the U.S. economy, for instance, that you're going to see it have a more magnified effect when you have a deviation from where they were expecting. And so I think that's why you're seeing what you're seeing right now. So let's just go to the charts. Now, this is my demo account, but I took all these trades on my live account too. So I got in just before the news came out. So the blue arrow here is why I got in. This is the pound Aussie, and you can see it's definitely going up right now. And I also took, what else did I take? Aussie yen. This is where I got in right at the top here, and this is again the same spot on my live account. I took Aussie kiwi, which is also going down. This is the 6-hour chart. We'll go down, and you can see here on the 1-hour chart, we did finish the trend right about where I was saying earlier. And I also took Euro Aussie long, and you can see that's going up too. And I had marked this as an ABC correction to an uptrend. Really, to me, this looked like this whole, as I said in the first video, I thought this was really sloppy and messy. I really didn't like this at all, but upon looking at it a little bit more, I can basically see this as a trend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have an ABC correction, zigzag, what they call in the Elliott wave world. And if you measure this out, you get about, 107 pips on the wave A. And this would be the wave C, again about 105 pips. So in a classic ABC zigzag, wave A and wave C are going to be about the same length, and that is exactly what we see here. And then we have a retracement for the wave B. This is probably looks like about a 61.8% retracement, just over that. So I felt pretty confident taking that long and resume this uptrend. And you can see the price is bouncing around a little bit right now, and I think some of that is driven by the fact that the trade balance number was positive, so traders are trying to find something to be positive about, and also because some profit taking probably for the the short-term scalpers that just wanted to trade the initial news. But I do think this will go up. The euro has been pretty strong. The kiwi has been strong, so I do think we'll see these trends continue. So again, guys, just wanted to make this follow-up video. Again, I am long in In this trade, I am in all these trades I just showed you on my live account too. So, but this is my MT5 demo, and I use the demo for analysis, as I've said in previous videos, because it's got all these extra time frames you don't get in MT4, which for an Elliott wave trader is really important to be able to see all these extra time frames to see patterns instead of just looking at, 1 hour, 4 hour daily, and whatever. You got some extra time frames in here. It makes it really important. Plus, it's got the labeling tools like I just put on there. The ABC, that's the corrective tool here, and then this is the impulse motive wave tool to mark the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. So that's why I do it. And then I'll trade on my live account is an MT4 account. My broker doesn't have MT5, so I trade on that account, but I analyze on this account. So just to point that out, because people sometimes ask me why I'm using MT5 or why I'm using the demo account, and that's why, because I need the MT5 for analysis purposes. So anyways, guys, that's it. Hopefully make some pips. I'll be keeping an eye on these. I'm in New York time zone, so it's 10 minutes to 9 p.m. here. So before I go to bed, I'll probably take a look at these and see where we're at. But I do think that we'll see continuation. And I can see Euro Aussie continuing in the uptrend here. I can see all of these going down. I can see the Aussie going down for a while. Aussie Kiwi, as you can see, is really going down. This is the end of a trend, and we came back up to this level right here. I can see this coming at least back, to minimum back to this area, if not all the way back to the beginning of this pattern. Aussie Yen. This was definitely a correction, so this is going to probably make a new low. We zoom out here. I'm thinking that this probably would be good for 150 pips off this high, which was right about when the news came out. Probably see it come down somewhere at least to this area, probably make a new low. And the pound Aussie, same thing. So anyways, guys, so that's it. Hope you have a great night, and any questions, let me know. Happy pip hunting, and we got more good stuff coming up this week for fundamentals, possible trading opportunity. Not so much tomorrow. We have Canadian trade balance tomorrow morning. That actually could be important, but I think the Friday is definitely more important. And being with non-farm payroll, unemployment rate, average hourly earnings for the U.S. dollar. It's going to be really interesting in wake of the hurricanes in the U.S. You can see that they're expecting a much lower number, so we'll see where this comes out. And Canadian dollar employment change is going to be very important. The Canadian dollar has appreciated a lot. They've hiked rates twice. They're worried about inflation, which is why they've decided to hike rates, and their numbers have been really positive. So the Canadian dollar has really been bought up a lot. So it'll be interesting to see where this comes out. And if these numbers disappoint, then again, there might be a rethinking of that rapid appreciation. And the Governor Palaz of the Canadian Bank of Canada, did kind of try to throw some water, cold water on the rally, saying that, look, future rate decisions are going to be data driven. So in other words, stop bidding up the Canadian dollar, because if the numbers don't bear it out, we're not going to raise rates anymore, and we could be dovish again. So if this is a real big one, employment numbers are a huge one. Outside of inflation numbers and interest rate decisions, employment numbers are probably the biggest drivers. So if this number comes out worse than expected on the Canadian dollar, expect to see a significant sell-off in the Canadian. If it's positive, I probably wouldn't. I would expect a rally, but probably not a huge one, because I think the market's expecting, based on where the market's been going. Although they're expecting a worse showing on the employment number, and they're expecting no change in the unemployment rate. I think if these come out as expected or positive, you probably see a rally, but not a huge one. But if they come out negative, and you have a negative deviation or variance on these numbers, expect a pretty significant fall off. The U.S. dollar, because of the because of the hurricanes, this number has really been pared back. The the numbers that came out. I think we had some numbers come out today. Yeah, you can see the ADP non-farm, which is not the important one. They have this red level. Came out 135,000. That does not always follow the actual government one that gets put out a couple of days later. Does not always follow the ADP private one. You can see the government one, they're expecting about half of where they were last month. So I'm going to have to look at the patterns, because this one really could be wild. This one might be more difficult to trade depending on the patterns, but we'll see. But the Canadian numbers will be, like I said, could definitely expect some major selling if these are a miss. For the same reason why we saw a negative movement on the Aussie tonight, because the market had been bidding it up so long and the expectations were so high that when you get a real big miss on the market, just kind of traders rethink their positions, and you get a lot of profit taking and selling going on. So let's keep an eye on it. These are definitely the two biggest events left for this week. I don't know if this trade balance tomorrow for the Canadian will really be of a lot of interest, but we'll see. So anyways, guys, that's it. Have a great night. Any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like it, share it, and we'll talk to you soon.